보고 미국이나 서양 언론에서는 한국의 인종차별주의적인 반발 때문에 인어공주 영화가 망했다고 보도하고 있는데 이제 한국인 입장에서 이 보도를 들었을 때 어떤 심정이신가요?
말도 안 되는 소리죠. 지들은 맨날 똥 같은 영화 만들어가지고 우리 보고 보라고 하는데 그걸 왜 우리가 봐야 되는지. 우리는 솔직히 그런 거 뭐 인종차별 그런 거 모르겠고 이상한 영화 만들어가지고 그거 안 보면은 예를 들어서 뭐 그런 거에서 동의를 하지 않는다 그러면은 왜 동의를 하냐 이런 식으로 계속 뭐 가르치려고 드는 면이 있어가지고 자기들이 뭔데 왜 다른 사람들을 가르치려고 하는지.
보고 미국에
You know, back when multi-billion-dollar corporations decided to be your mommy, daddy, and nanny and start lecturing you about how to behave, trying to replace the role of the church, if people would have just been like, how dare they? With what right do they have to lecture me? If people would have said that from the beginning, we wouldn't have been in this problem. But you do see that the Koreans are asking that very sane and healthy question. It's like, how dare they who do they think they are? Why do they lecture me? Like, what did they want my money? Yes. And they have the audacity to lecture me? Me? But anyway, what's interesting is that the reaction you got from the South Korean. And that's pretty much expected, right? Like, you have a person from the outside being exposed to the madness, but the madness is such high level that it's not affecting him. It has to be gradually implemented in order to be effective. And the issue is that South Koreans did not grow up with many of these woke movies, because what you notice about them, and all of them have this in common, they parasite off of established IPs. That they leech on something that was created and is tied to people's nostalgia in order to get that emotional reaction. But for the people in South Korea, they probably didn't grow up with the Terminator. They didn't grow up with Ariel. They didn't grow up with Spider-Man. So because of that, they really don't care. Right? Like, it's, oh, well, they changed Spider-Man and now he's black. Like, okay, yeah, but like, I don't like Spider-Man. I'm going to read my South Korean stuff, you know, like the mangaka or whatever it's called. So that's why they really don't care, and they find the tactic to be bewildering. But I want to point out something else that came up. I decided to censor this person's name because I don't want people to go and criticize them. It's not about that. I do believe that they're lying, though. I never heard anyone say, I told my African-American father. Like, do people actually talk this way? You know, I would take things that didn't happen for $500. Like, usually they would say, I talked to my father. They would be like, my African-American father. It's just bizarre. But anyway, just recently told my African-American father, which apparently is completely detached from culture. Like, he just doesn't know, right? Like, imagine this hypothetical father, completely detached from internet, completely detached from anything that presents advertisement. And he was told by his son that there is a black Spider-Man. It's interesting. African-American father, but Spider-Man is black, right? So Spider-Man isn't African-American. It's just that the father is. Okay. I showed him some scenes, and he had such a big smile the whole time watching. Okay, so your father started crying. Right? He pissed his eyes while watching a kid's cartoon. That's very masculine of him. Miles became his favorite right there. Representation matters so much. You don't speak for us. Yeah, I don't think you speak for anyone either. I think you're just writing the correct things in order to get clout on the internet. But let's assume that this post is true, right? This post went quite viral, by the way. Let's assume that it's true. So representation matters. Okay. It only matters because you see yourself separate from other ethnicities. Like, for you, nationality doesn't matter. The class struggle doesn't matter. You can't empathize with another individual which can have like similar lived experience with you. The only thing that matters is you're like a Nazi. The only thing that you care about is the race. And you cannot connect with a white Spider-Man. But you expect the entire world to connect with Miles Morales. Isn't that fascinating, right? So, like, representation matters. So you expect the South Korean to connect with Miles Morales. You expect the Hindi person to connect with Miles Morales. But you cannot connect with a white Spider-Man. You cannot connect with Peter Parker. Is that what I'm getting? Is this the ideology? And of course they will say, well, representation matters, right? So now we need to have like a Spider-Man for every ethnicity, right? Like you need an Eskimo Spider-Man, you need an Asian Spider-Man, you need a Muslim Spider-Man, and then of course different genders as well. Like it needs to be like a female Muslim Spider-Man and a male Muslim Spider-Man. And of course, then you have the sexuality. The sexuality is very important, right? Like you need to have the gay Spider-Man, and you have the lesbian and whatnot. And you have like all these comic books for every person, so that when you go to the store, there is like a huge wall filled with Spider-Man comics, and I'm like, I'm the cisgender heteronormative white man. Where's my Spider-Man? Oh, here we go, right? And it would be like literally the same story. Like just nothing changes. It's just like the way the character is drawn is a little different. This is like the perfect utopia for the representation matter crowd, right? This is how they make money. Like if they were in charge of Marvel, this is how they would do business. Like how much money would they invest per issue? Just per a single issue to make sure that you have like these customizable Spider-Man. It's like when you play an RPG game and you just customize your character. Also very interesting, like when you play RPG games and you customize your characters, I notice like people usually don't make their own appearances. Like usually men play with women in RPG characters. Like just make sure that she has a nice plump tushy so that when they play the game from a third person view, they get to see that. But anyway, right, so if representation really did matter, you would have a huge problem because everything would be like Bollywood. You know, like Bollywood only puts Hindi actors in movies. Like, they don't cast anything else. China only casts Asian people. They don't cast anything else in their movie. If representation mattered, it would only be Caucasians. Because anything else wouldn't sell. Like, a Caucasian would just refuse to go and see a movie that's made from Bollywood. Which obviously is not the case, because when I grew up with Chinese kung fu movies. And I really enjoyed them. Right? Despite the fact that I did not feel represented. I didn't even, like, have the concept, like, I need to feel represented. No, like, they were human beings with their experiences, and they were partaking in interesting stories, and that's why I watched. But I guess, you know, like, the social engineering is training people to legitimately believe that representation matters. And unironically, there's probably people that genuinely believe that. I mean, take into account what marketing is. Like, Coca-Cola tries to market that it's the best sugary drink out there. And there are people who watch the commercials and they actually do believe that Coca-Cola is a good drink. Even though it's unhealthy and it's not good for them. And it's the same thing. Like, just think about, like, where the Coca-Cola ads happen and when do you see them. Now, think about the representation matters propaganda. Where do you see it? How often are you exposed to it? Like, eventually, there will be people that genuinely believe it. My cousin, for example, says, and I do believe her, like, she cried when she saw the Wonder Woman movie because, like, finally, you have a female superhero. And I asked her, like, are you insane? Like, did you not grow up with Tsukina Usagi, with Sailor Moon? Was that not a superhero enough for you? Like, do you not remember Storm and Kitty from X-Men? Like, do we need to go on and on, like Supergirl and all that? And she was, like, visibly upset because I was making the points that she couldn't refute. And the reason was that she fell for the propaganda, right? Like, this was the marketing arm of DC Comics, which tried to portray itself that it's breaking glass ceiling for making, like, the first ever female superhero, while completely ignoring the fact that Catwoman existed. And there were other Wonder Woman movies made before that. But anyway, right, let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.